What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is, what world would you like to create? What if you could change the world to the way you desire? What would it be? Who would you like to see in your world? Well, let's play with some ideas. And by the way, if you're listening live, you can call in with ideas of how would you like the world to be today. Probably not quite the way it is, but guess what? Let me burst your bubble. You create your reality based on your point of view. So if all of us agree on certain things, that's how the world gets created. You would say, okay, but that's God that creates all of that. Well, you can call it God. You can call it universe. You can call it divine energy, universal energy. You can call it whatever you want. Consciousness. I call it consciousness. I call it universe. Basically, it's like that genie. Whatever we tell the genie to do, genie will do it. So all our points of view that we have, especially the fixed points of view, the judgments, the fears, all the unconscious beliefs, that's what drives that force. There is one of the jokes, which is kind of, to me, is partially a joke. A man sitting on a bus and thinking, oh my God, my life sucks. My wife is such a bitch. My children are idiots. My boss is an asshole. I don't have any money. And the world falling apart. Behind him sits Angel, or some kind of being that has a power over the universe, or can bring the wishes up the ladder to the higher ups, writes down something and thinking to himself, wow, this guy, every single day, he's got those weird, strange wishes. But I guess we'll have to make it happen? So how often our thoughts, feelings, and emotion are the ones that driving our world to create itself based on those thoughts, feelings, and emotions? Let me tell you, pretty much all the time. And if we have any conclusions, any judgments, any points of view, it's either, let's say we have some ideas of how we would like to create the world. And if it was true, if we truly believe that we can create it that way, that's how we would create it. But somewhere in the back of our mind sits that nagging, call it ego, call it subconscious, call it something else, tells us cannot be, cannot create this. So, but the universe still creates based on whatever we're choosing or based on our points of view. So if that nagging voice is louder than your desires, it creates based on those judgments. So we have a wonderful tool in Access called clearing statement, which is right and wrong, good and bad, pack and pat, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And I was just listening to Gary Douglas, founder of Access, talking a little bit about clearing statement. And yes, it's a weird phrase that allows us to clear our limitation based on energy, not on words. And you can use just pack and pat, point of creation, point of destruction, basically going all the way back in time when whatever we created. So we might be using that throughout the podcast. So let's destroy and uncreate all your points of view that keeps this reality that doesn't work for you in the way it is right now. Would you be willing to totally destroy and uncreate that? I hear yes, so right and wrong, good and bad, pack and pat, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So the idea is, because we create based on who we are, what we are, and there is an amazing book, Being You, Changing the World. So what if we could create the world where there is no wars, there is no racism, there is no COVID, there is no social isolation? That world could be based on consciousness instead of fear. But it always starts with us. It starts with clearing our own points of view, clearing our own limitation, and getting out of that virtual reality. Because let's face it, the world we live in is a virtual vibrational reality. Nothing more, nothing less. We created based on our choices. We created based on whatever points of view. Most of it is actually we took from society, from parents, from other people. So how much your world is based on other people's realities? Just think for a second. How much your life might be either duplication of your parents' life or refusal of being like them and going the opposite direction, which is not much better, by the way. And how much you're destroying yourself, your body, your life, based on those points of view, based on duplication and taking on illnesses from other people. So how much is your reality actually a duplication of other people's reality, their misery, their illness, their points of view? And then we look at that and wonder, why is our life so limited? So what if we actually choose something different? What if we created the world actually based on our choices instead of points of view of other people? What if we could create the world where the wars and devastation would not exist? But in order to create that world, we have to start somewhere, right? And usually the starting point is ourselves. Because how much of war and devastation is going on in our psyche, in our bodies, in our emotions and feelings? How much anger do we feel? How much fear do we feel? How much doubt do we have about everything in the world, about our lives, about our bodies? How much fear do we have of aging? How much desire do we have for aging? There is so many points of view that we accumulated over thousands of years that creating that war, well, I call it war within ourselves. Because there is always a conflict. There is always a conflict between what we desire and what we can or cannot have, conflict between right and wrong, conflict between, the forever conflict between children and parents, between parents and children, between husband and wife. Even if you don't have spouses, significant others, there is always a conflict inside of not having something you desire or having something that you don't desire. So all of that, a lot of times, translate into the world with conflict, into reality with conflict, your life that's full of conflict. What if we start melting it? And by melting, I'm talking about not fighting for or against conflict. Because whenever we fight for or against, it keeps it in place. Have you noticed that? No matter what you're fighting for or against, if you align and agree with certain point of view, with certain movement, it keeps it in place. If you resist and react, if you fight against it still exists. Let's look at racism, for example. How much people fight for or against racism, and it still exists. How many hundreds of years later? What if we actually destroy it without fighting it, just by melting it and recognizing it shouldn't even exist? We all are people with feelings and thoughts and emotions. We are equal. Doesn't matter what color, what sex preference, how much money we have, how much money we don't have. We still love, we still hate, we still desire things, and we always strive for something that's better for us and our families. So what if we start melting everything that's not working in this world, instead of fighting for or against, energetically? What if we become bigger than all those problems? Let's play with that. And you know me, I like to do the expansion exercise pretty much on every of my shows, because that gives people an idea and allows us to clear so much without fighting, without defending it, without getting hurt, pretty much, by it or not. And we will be doing expansion exercise after we come back from the break. And it's time for our first break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. So we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message? The world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Helen Gitlevich. I'm Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, what world would you like to create? And before we went on a break, we were talking about expanding and melting all of the limitations of this reality, all the problems of this reality. So let's play with that. And if you're driving, don't close your eyes, but other than that, you can lay down, you can sit up and just enjoy the meditation. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open, but allow yourself just to sit comfortably or lay down and drop your barriers. Just allow your crown to open up and allow the light of consciousness to go through your body and exit through your feet into the core of Earth. And pull Earth energy through your feet, through your body, and allow it to exit through the crown. And as those two flows going from the top into the earth and from earth going up, allow them to mix in your heart. And from the heart, that energy, that filling your heart, start mixing and expanding. Because the more energy you pull in from the earth or from the heaven, allow them to create a big ball, beautiful ball of energy. It can be colorful, colorless, white, gold, whatever you choose today. And allow those energies to mix and swirl and get bigger and bigger. And allow yourself to expand with that ball of energy, starting from your heart. And go out. If you're in the States, about a mile, maybe a couple of miles. If you're everywhere in the world, expand maybe a couple of kilometers, 3 kilometers, 5 kilometers. Whatever your metric or American system of measurements are, don't focus on that. Just go out in all directions, like a sphere of light. And whatever that light expands to, allow it to melt anything other than pure consciousness, pure love, pure gratitude. Allow the light of consciousness to go through the crown, and earth energy goes through the feet, and feeding that ball of consciousness, ball of energy, of love, of gratitude, of allowance, of creation. You can add anything you'd like, money, any energy that is a contribution to your life and living. and expand that. Maybe 10 kilometers, 10 miles. And keep going. Keep feeding it. And more love, more gratitude, more trust, more vulnerability, and more intimacy with yourself, and more honor for yourself and other people, other beings, trees, plants, elements. And allow that energy to melt any hate, any emotions, any thoughts, any feelings that you consider negative or positive that are still limiting you. Everywhere where you're fighting for or against, think of that problem and melt it like it never existed. Go all the way out, maybe 1,000 miles, 10,000 miles, and keep expanding. If you encounter people that still believe in those points of view, still have those judgments, anything of that other than pure love, just melt it and allow it to dissipate and allow Earth to transform it into something beautiful. Because we can use anything to fertilize Earth and keep expanding. Expand 10,000 miles, 100,000 miles. Make yourself bigger than Earth. And now allow the whole Earth to be inside of you, inside of your consciousness, inside that ball of pure divine energy, of love, of gratitude, of intimacy with yourself, with the world, and allow that to expand even more. Go into the solar system, and as you go out, clear out and melt any darkness and bring light into those corners of the universe, of the world we live in, and keep expanding it into infinity. And the more you expand, allow yourself just to see our little virtual reality the way it actually is. How small it is. How pathetic it is. And how much can we change that when we are so infinite and so powerful with all the energy of divine, all the energy of the universe at our disposal. And without contracting, allow yourself to go inside your body. Because the body also has consciousness. The body is a being, living and breathing organism that can change and shift everything around you. So allow yourself to see your organs from inside. And just what we did outside, let's go inside in our body and see the cells that make up our body. See the molecules that make up our bodies. Atoms. We are the space between the molecules. We are that consciousness that holds everything together. We are the magic behind the scene. So let's start creating based on that magic. Look at any molecule in our own body that's ready to change, to create a different world based on our choices instead of other people's points of view. Let's change that one molecule in our body. It might show up like a spark of light and allow that light to go out into the universe and melt anything and everything in a way of consciousness, in a way of what doesn't work in your life, in your reality, in the world. And expand it all the way into infinity. And melt and dissolve any darkness that's in your body or that's outside your body. And now go back into the body and see if there is any other molecule or atom that's ready to be changed. And just change that. And allow that to go out into the world. Allow that to melt all the racism, all the hate, rage, fury, anything that's in the way of us creating a different reality. And keep expanding even more. Keep expanding. See if there is any darkness still in the world that you can dissolve and bring light there. What if you choose that? What if you chose to be that magic that you truly are? And just allow that. And you can stay in that meditation for now, or you can open your eyes. It's your choice. But it's time for us to go on our second break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll talk more about how we can create a different world where devastation and wars and racism should not exist. And we will be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, what world would you like to create? Before we went on a break, we were actually doing the expansion meditation. How do you feel after that? Just scan your body. Is there a difference? How much softer, how much lighter are you when you're expanded? What if you'd be expanded all the time? Would anything that's going on in the world or in your life affect you as much as it does now? Because at this moment, how much of all of the things that's going on in your life actually based on your judgments? Because when we have any solid point of view, any judgments, it pretty much creates a filter. And nothing that doesn't match our judgment can come into our universe. It's like looking through a glass that's been either dirty or it might be a colored glass. It might be beautiful. It might be positive judgments. But if we're looking through the pink colored glasses, do we actually see what's in front of us? Not really. Not at all, let's put it this way. I love a joke about a young couple that moved into a neighborhood. It's every morning they would have breakfast in their kitchen. And once in a while, the neighbor would do her laundry. That joke comes from, I guess, maybe 50, 70 years ago when there was no washers and dryers. And she would hang her laundry out on her patio or in the backyard. And the young wife looks out of her window and comments every single time that the woman would hang her laundry. My God, her laundry is dirty. Maybe she needs to use a different detergent. Maybe somebody should give her a different soap, or maybe somebody should teach her how to do the laundry. Husband kept quiet. And then one morning, maybe a month or a couple of months passed, they sit and eat their breakfast and the woman is doing her laundry. And the wife was like, oh my God, her laundry is beautifully white. Somebody probably did give her a different detergent. The husband looks at his wife and comments, darling, this morning I washed our windows. So how often do we look at everything in the world through the window that might be dirty, might be colored by our judgments, by our points of view? Pretty much all the time. Let's put it this way. Some of those judgments, not even ours. Let me tell you, how many of those judgments that we have are our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, school, the newspaper, media, friends, extended family. All those judgments, all those points of view, each one of them creates a filter, a dirt, a splatter of some shit that they put on our windshield. And even if we use our windshield wipers, we just spread it out. The idea is to wash it out completely. I remember driving a few years ago. It was a road trip with my daughter. And we were driving for a few hours. It was in the summer, so there was a lot of bugs in the air. So the windshield was covered with those poor bugs that hit the windshield and splattered against it. And all that stuff, or the dirt, all the things. So I had a hard time driving because there was so much of that thing. And Rachel commented, it's like, Mom, maybe you should go to a car wash. Let's stop somewhere and ask for a car wash. I'm like, at that time, I just asked, let's ask the universe, what would it take for us to wash the windows with total ease? Within minutes, there was a pouring rain. I'm not kidding you. It was downpour. Almost like a car wash. It washed everything from the windows. And then it was gone. And sunshine again. So how often we don't ask for what we need? Because universe is ready to answer any of our desires. It's just waiting for our ask. But what do? Oh, that's not good. We cannot ask anybody or anything for anything. That was my point of view for a long, long time, because I was always brought up in a notion that I have to be independent woman. And what does independent woman means? To me, it was I had to do everything myself. And I kind of like gave it to my daughter, but that's a story for another time. And it was about, I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't ask for anything. I had to do everything myself, including the universe. I didn't realize how much I was shutting out. Call it God, call it universe, call it divine. Even that I was asking it, I was creating together for a long time because I was doing creative visualization. So I couldn't shut it down completely. But there was that limitation to how much I could co-create because I had to do everything myself. Are you willing to let go of those points of view that make you shut down from allowing other people to contribute to you, universe to contribute to you, any conscious beings to contribute to you, or even non-conscious being to contribute to you? What if we didn't have any point of view about the energies that can come into our universe? Before we went on a break, we did expansion exercise. When you expanded, was there any negative or positive? Was there any right or wrong? Just do it again for a second, because you can do it instantly, by the way. You don't have to go through like 1 mile, 10 miles, 1,000 miles. You can go just instantly. Go to infinity. And see if there is any of those points of view that are solid. Can you keep any solid point of view? Or those solid points of view were that darkness, that dark spots that didn't allow you to create? What if we can just melt those, all those judgments, and be in total allowance of anybody or anything, what they choose, what they don't choose, even our choices in the past? Because how often do we dwell on our past quote-unquote mistakes? And how much of those mistakes, quote-unquote, really were not mistakes, but what shaped us into being who we are, pushed us to create more in our lives, pushed us to become that seeker for consciousness. A lot of people don't see consciousness until they're hurting, and hurting so bad. So what if we don't have to hurt so bad? What if we don't have to judge ourselves for hurting? Because I love the kind of like definition it's not even definition, but kind of explains the difference between the humans or human-like people and animals. Because people say animals are not conscious. Well, I think they're more conscious than us, but that's, again, story for another time. The difference of the consciousness, animal gets hurt, and it hurts. They acknowledge it. And when it stops hurting, it's done. They choose something else. When a person hurts, they got hurt. It hurts. They acknowledge it. The pain stops. Now they go into hurting over being hurt. They obsess it. How come I got hurt? And then comes another thought. Oh my God, I got hurt so bad. And I suffer about being hurt. And now the person is suffering over being hurt. And then they suffer over being hurt. How often do we do that? And are we actually living? Or we're suffering? What would you choose? Would you choose to live through the suffering over being hurt? And keep piling on your windows or windshield those piles of shit or piles of poo that you keep creating and recreating so you cannot see anything in front of you? Or you be more conscious of your choices and look at that and say, oh, that choice created pain. Maybe not my brightest moment. Let's choose something else. And instead of deciding and calculating and computing over what will get you out of pain, just choose something different. And that's just as simple as making one step forward or step sideways or back. It's just a choice. And I love when Gary said, it's just like changing your dirty underwear. It's just a choice. You can wear your poopy diaper or poopy underwear, or you can clean up and change your underwear. That's just a choice. Or you can sit in it and suffer and complain about it. Oh yes, complaining about it, that it smells, it hurts, and eventually it kind of actually creates the disease if you sit in it long enough. Would you be willing to make a different choice and stop sitting in your poop and just change and choose something different? Create a different reality. Create something that works for you instead of that doesn't work for you. But if you have a conclusions and points of view about how it works and how you cannot get out of it, you cannot even see the clean underwear. You cannot even see another choice. So are you willing to let go of all your conclusions and computations, all your points of view and judgments that might not even be yours? Just let them go. Choose something different. Thank you. Right and wrong, good and bad, pack and pat, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And we are ready to go on our third and final break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll continue to discuss how can we make a different choice and create a different world, different reality. We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma. on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is, what world would you like to create? And before we went on a break, we were talking about choices and choosing differently instead of continue to suffer and complain about it. And by the way, I've been talking about tools of access consciousness today, which was founded by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Hare. And I'm facilitated with that modality. I will be doing some classes coming up, which actually will be dealing with a lot of those tools of how to get out of your poopy diaper. July 16 will be a bars class, and then July 17 starts Foundation Online. So it doesn't matter where in the world you are. You can always join, actually both. If you have a partner for bars, you can join online. And Foundation will be online and in person in Buffalo Grove and in Guatemala, because I will be co-facilitating with Rachel Silber. And there are other classes that you can join. That's on my website, either creatingabundancewithease.com or helengitlevich.accessconsciousness.com. And you can always contact me through the web site. If you have any specific topic in mind where we can play, just like we were playing today. And with choices like what we were talking about, just making a choice. People say, I don't have a choice. There is no choice there. Well, let me tell you, not having a choice and not choosing is still a choice. Years ago, when I was just starting my journey with Woman Within and with Akashic Records, actually, it was just Woman Within. Akashic Records, I already knew I had a choice. And I remember working with my mentor, because I was working toward becoming a facilitator, and she was telling me, you have a choice. And I'm like, I don't have a choice. There is no choice there. She's like, well, not having a choice, not choosing is still a choice. And that was when I first realized that, yes, not having a choice and not choosing is still a choice. So when people say I don't have a choice, that's what they're choosing. And because a lot of times we created our world, we created our life, not so much based on cognitive or conscious choices. We based it on unconsciousness and anti-consciousness. And in some other shows we talked about it, because unconsciousness is autopilot when we kind of like do things we have no idea. And that's all because we have certain points of view we are not even aware of. point of view that keeps us stuck in a certain way, acting, being, doing, feeling, thinking, because all of that is our own creation. And it's not to judge you. Guys, don't get me wrong, because when I say you created all of that shit in your life, it's not about judging you wrong for doing that or pushing you to judge you as being wrong, because we love judging ourselves wrong. Or other people. Well, other people not so much. It's mostly judging ourselves. This is about seeing what an amazing creator we are. It takes a lot of energy to create limitations. Let me tell you, I know I've done a lot of those limitations. I've created a lot of them in my life just to overcome them, just to prove how powerful I am and how good I am at solving problems. Any of you recognize that? Cute, but not so bright. It's not about judging, because as soon as you judge something, you start creating more of that. So if you start judging that you've created problems, guess what? You'll start creating more problems. No, this is about recognizing that we have the power to change and choose something different and use that power instead of against us, but use it for us to create a world that is totally different. We might still create problems in that world, but maybe that would be creation to have fun instead of pain. What if we start looking at what can we create to have more joy in our lives? What if we can start looking at what would create more fun, more ease, more abundance, more money? And there are quite a few tools in Access Consciousness. One of them that we've been talking the whole hour about is question. Because question creates more possibilities, not going into conclusion. The questions we've been asking, what else is possible here? How does it get any better than that? What choice do I have that I haven't even considered? And clearing our limitation, like melting it, allowing us to be the infinite being we are with an infinite possibility, infinite magic, infinite questions, infinite choice. We have so much infinite, but we contracted and decided that we're a tiny little thing that can be affected by this reality. This reality is just virtual, one of the virtual vibrational reality that keeps us stuck. Where is that get out button? What if we can just push the button and say, okay, end simulation, or change simulation? That's as simple as that. What if we can end this simulation when we go to sleep and start a new one, a new world that's more beautiful, with gratitude, with love, with intimacy, with everyone, especially ourselves? What if we could create the intimacy with the world? And next week, we will be on the same channel. You can hear live and join us live on Inspired Choices Network with my radio show, Creating Abundance with Ease. And you've been listening to Helen Gitlevich, myself, on Creating Abundance with Ease on the Inspired Choices Network. And we will see you next week, same time, same place.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start